Yeah, clerics that create water like level 1 or something like that, but no one worries about fire either because fire isn't a worry in modern times, really. Yeah, clerics, as a side thing too, if we're going to be going into this in terms of defenses, there are routinely clerics of gods that have domains that would step into the region what I'm talking about. Siege defense or building reinforcement. Those clerics should probably, every major city is like in my lore head, if I'm like to right now, hey, we're gonna start cranking out the rules. Like I'm gonna make a world from scratch. We'll make it independent of individual rule sets. You know, try to get the fit in with everything. If there are clerics and they have domains, it would be like a toggle on, toggle off ability. Every legit city would have that fucking temple in the main castle. You have the castle, you have the courtyard with the horses, and right fucking there is a gigantic temple to whatever fucking god does construction. Whatever god. Doesn't even matter if it's my primary god. I'll build him a big honking temple. I'll have him have a gigantic fucking temple out in the fucking city. Right here by my castle is a temple to the construction god. Because if nothing else, the construction god clerics and god are just going to fucking have a well-reinforced fucking church. And if I have that somehow as like part of contiguous structure for my castle is just that much better. Yet you never in any of the books see any of these churches that close. You might see, oh, this is the god of fucking walls. And they're like 20 billion miles away from the fucking castle. What the hell jackass king did that? You literally have a god who wants all of his followers to make the strongest walls and reinforcements and build things of high quality in my name. Draw more people to pray to me for structural stability. Why the fuck, as a king, am I not bringing them in? I'm gonna go there right now, get half my fucking taxes for the last year, give it to that god as a tithe. Please God, let my wall not crumble during this next war. You know how easy it is to pray to the god and give donations if he's right down the fucking hall? Oh shit, they're coming out with a new siege weapon. Yeah, how much you want this time? 10,000 gold? How long will that keep me safe? An hour? What if I give you 35,000? Can I get 5 hours? Yeah, I've got reinforcements coming when sun comes up. I just need 5 hours. All right, 35,000. All right, here you go. Like, why? Why did they never focus on defense? There are gods that do this in D&D. Why the hell is this never like a core thing in any of the major cities? It's like, oh, here's that, and the church is over here. This is a religious block. Fuck that. Those churches would be all over the city. First of all, why are all the churches next to each other? That is asinine. Second of all, the king should have favorites, and those churches that are very good for ruling your domain and keeping yourself safe should be closer to the castle. Because you know that king spends every Sunday or whatever the religious holiday is, or in that 10-day, he's just walking around praying to all the gods. How much money do you need? How much money do you need? I would like to rule for longer. How much money? Even the evil gods would be paying the construction gods, or the evil kings would be paying construction god churches more money to stay alive longer. Now, I'm slowly trying to catch up to chat. I know I'm always consistently behind, but bear with me. Look, in Middle Earth, dragons exist, but the ancient fortress can't defend against a dragon. The lonely mountain being fucked up by smoke is so illogical. The dwarves would have been well aware the dragons were nearby and the wealth that would attract them. So why were they not over-prepared? It's a low magic defense. They would still be relying on non-magical defense. They had a super hardened bolts of ranged defense, so why didn't they work before smog was encrusted? Yes. I don't know if that was just a question in general or towards me, but I agree with that. Smog should never have been able to take that mountain. The dwarves are known for having all the gold and all the fortification and the engineering shit to do this shit on the ground. And they have the technology for the super dragon slaying spears. They should have had way more defenses. I have no clue how the fuck they lost to Smaug. I don't know if that was supposed to be a contentious point or not, but yeah, no. Yeah, no, that entire movie does not make sense. Construction wizard. Also, isn't there like a water skin that just spews out water? Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. That's the canteen of endless water or something. It has 3 modes. It's like I want to hydrate. Then it's party time, and then it's fucking geyser mode. We have to do a strength check to hold back the pressure for how much water's coming out of it. Unlimited, just water. If you leave 2 of these things on, you could drown any city, just cover it in mud and ruin their economic infrastructure. But somehow, I've only ever seen in one adventure pass / adventure somewhere, someone come up with the idea of a fire truck. I don't know. The general answer is because the players are going to be on the offense, so it's more fun to figure out how to use these tools. That's fine, but none of the campaign settings, like I'm writing this for the perspective of a king, none of them ever have good defenses. So it always like, why do they have this? I'm a wizard, I can't just do this. One of the strongest things, as stupid as this sounds, as a side thing, one of the strongest things to do, I don't know how well this works in later games, but particularly in 3.5, is to have a druid in your party. Have your druid in the party. Druids can't wear metal, they can wear dragon scale. Kill a dragon, wear the dragon scale shit, or find the remains of a dragon, wear the dragon scale armor, breastplate bullshit, go into the enemy's castle, and then cast the fucking, not reincarnate, but whatever, the spell to bring it back to life. Boom, surprise dragon in the middle of the enemy castle. That shit's effective. They fucked everything up in the TV show. What TV show? A TV show. The general answer is because the players are going to be out in the offense, so it's more fun to figure out how to use these tools. They fucked everything up in the TV show. Yeah, that idea was just brain dead. Well, they have massive magical fleets that are summoned from... Oh! George R.R. Martin's. Yeah. Fire nice. In the middle of fucking nowhere. So strangely, tech can go backwards. Human history has had that occur several times. What you buying? In many ways, we're in that stage again right now, Zach does. We just have electronics now. People are idiot frying. It's almost always possible there's an offensive weapon that has no defense other than mitigating its effects. Like how armies spread out to defend from nuclear, biological, chemical warfare, but that defense makes them weaker versus other types of attacks. Well, yes and no. Nuclear, I agree with you on the whole. That's a fucking pain to fight. But there are a lot of defenses versus biological and chemical warfare. Admittedly, on the infantry scale, not so much. You do just spread out. But to be clear, for things that are more required to be more important than just pure infantry scale, they have biological and chemical resistances. If nothing else, it's such a minor detail, but just a United States Army military vehicles, and I assume other military vehicles, are covered in this weird paint that's not just like regular paint. It's called CARC paint, chemical agent resistive coating paint. So just to make sure that chemical agents don't stick to their vehicles, they came out with weird chemical agent resistive paint. How effective it is, I'm not saying. I don't actually know, but it exists. Wizards are force multipliers. Cast a wish, make immediately magic go. Yeah, I don't trust elves. Wall spells can be OP, especially if you can change how the wall forms, i.e. form a box around the foe. So, yeah. In Songs of Ice and Fire, did find a way to surrender to single-sided dragons and kind of fought amongst themselves. Couldn't have a cast until the 9th level in basic D&D. Yes, but you got one. But you got one. Everyone around level 8 or level 9 got their name level. They got the level that named them their class. Fighters weren't fighters until level 8 or 9. Paladins weren't paladins. Rogues aren't rogues. And wizards aren't wizards. Maybe wizards were neophyte. I don't know what the hell wizards were. But anyways, at around some level, all of a sudden it was like, oh, BT dubs. Now you have a wizards guild. Now you have a church of your own. Now you have a castle. They tried to reintroduce that gameplay with the leadership feat, but routinely they're always like, oh, the leadership feat is broken. It gives you too many things and we don't know what to do with it. They're not wrong. That's because they're trying to reintroduce an entire mechanic that they stripped the fuck out. It's like, well, I wonder why. Excuse me. I wonder why this is broken. Could it be because you are evil and you said no? Also, I was working on this and the ranting made me forget what I was doing. So let us remove more of this wall and put more of the wall up. Couldn't have a castle 9th level. Hello Stevens. An entire giant blue waffle. I'm back from the second lunch dinner. Original D&D, your party wasn't just your party. You're soon to have many hirelings and they were important to your fighting ability. Yeah. Like, after that, they're made like, oh, it's just you. I routinely try to find ways to do that. Again, it's another way that seems to confuse like DMs who aren't used to this, who have just learned off of newer types of things, is to buy those things. They have rules for hirelings, they have rules for wagons, and a lot of them are cheaper than you might think. I don't know about later versions, but just even when you have no real reason to, just start buying some of that weird shit. Buy a wagon, buy a horse, even if you're not a paladin, even if it's like, oh, this might run away at combat or whatever. Buy some of these things. Really weird. A horse is, at least in 3.5 in Pathfinder, ridiculously cheap to feed. Ridiculously. It's just a weight issue with the amount of hay you have to bring. What happens if you get fucking ambushed in the middle of nowhere? Oh, well, there's a good chance they're gonna attack the horse. They're gonna try to cut off your escape plan. That's just more rounds they're not attacking you. Like, a horse is a permanent summon. Even if it's going to try to run away, it's going to get hit. That's a hit that's not directed at you. That's time you have to react. Like, all these things, like having more people in your party and these weird utilitarian things that you can reintroduce back into the game, they're always like way stronger than a lot of people give it credit for. Way stronger. Where are my blocks? Diorite blocks, there they are. So we're moving on the left side, unfortunately. Oh, please, still make some of the original basic D&D role-playing. Had a great lands, including flying ships. Yeah, you were assumed to have many hirelings. Matthew Colville created a Stronghold and Follower supplement for D&D 5. I don't know who Matthew Colville is, but I agree with him as well. He is an amazing person. I'm not a massive fan of it, but Serial Worm was a superhero story that actually had an explanation for why their user powers were stupid, non-lethal fights against each other rather than to build buildings and cities in space. Okay. Praise be to the god of fortresses, and praise be to Armok when attacking a dumbass. Dwarf Fortress does have a gods of fortress. They tend to be jerks, though. They also let loose demons in the world to test the strength of the fortresses in Moria. Yeah, seriously, Dwarf Fortress should be natural enemies to a dragon, which is aerial in nature. Yes. Oh no, a Balrog. Just fuck it up and weigh it down into the fucking depths and collapse the cave on it. Yes. Balrog had the ability to come back from the depths. Gandalf explains that the Balrog had a stare from the utter depths. Yeah, but block off the hole it's coming through. Push it, knock it down, and then block off whatever path it's taking. Can't use stairs if you're wrapped under a collapsed cavern, trapped, resurrect. It's immortal but never implodes to be strong enough that it could lift a fuck ton of solid rock. Implied. Balrogs and Tolkien were basically fallen angels. You weren't trapping them with cave-ins. Back then it's kind of questionable at best. You can probably count on 30% of the paint. The ranting also made you miss a traitor, did it not? Shh. Shh. No traitor. Explain how, what? How would you not be able to trap a creature under a cave-in that does not have infinite strength to escape, assuming it doesn't need to breathe, eat, or drink? Morgoth, who was the original boss of Sauron and was originally the strongest of the Valar, imbued the earth with his power the same way Sauron put his power in the ring. The Balrogs were his servants. They'd have magical command over the earth. Buy horses and a wagon. Need some way of transporting all this loot. Assuming Morgoth gave Balrog's ability, he did. Source, Morgoth's ring. All right. Someone mentioned just blocking Balrog. It's not a physical entity restricted by open path. No, if I put a wall in its way and it can't pathfind, he doesn't know how to get to me. It's how it works. It's D&D. D&D is inspired by Lord of the Rings, so Lord of the Rings has to follow by D&D rules. If he does not have line of sight and line of effect, he can't get me. Duh. That's how it works. Oh. No, but it scorches large areas. A consuming flame can travel across this flame at will. But no, to the original point of this, you're not going to have a wizard on a dragon take out a castle. If you have a wizard on a dragon take out a castle, then it's not a castle. It's like a tiny tower. If it is of a kingdom that was wealthy enough, say, to build a castle, they're going to do it right and have defenses, or they're going to have a wizard on employ to resist it. If you look, a lot of people get the numbers wrong too. If you look at the numbers, hold on. hold on. I'm gonna move the thing over here. I'm gonna do some wizard math. Wizard math. Now, admittedly, these numbers are based upon 3.5, so bear with me. Tour. Update that to a large city. I'm gonna call this Math. Name of my city is Math. I need. What is the numbers of how this works? Isolated. I'll say 1010020. 010020. That's 97 remaining. 97. Children 10. Submit. Probably shouldn't have done it on the streaming computer. Hopefully I don't drop any frames. All right. In a large city, right? Population of how much do you have for population? I forget how many people are in a large city. Population 23,840. Large city, not a metropolis, not a grandiose thing. According to the D&D, the DM's book, you should have a wizard of around level 12. A wizard of around level 12 can cast 6 level spells. Now, he is not in the upper tier. I grant you that. Someone doing 9, 8, or 7 can probably easily take his ass out. But he is at the high end of medium tier spells, and he just is there for the city. Even if he's just a shopkeeper, you're telling me that that particular wizard does not have some contract by whoever's running the large city, the mayor, the tiny ass king, the duke, whoever it is, a level 12 wizard that lives there on the regular doesn't have something on, doesn't have a, what's it called? I'm hitting space on the wrong program. Doesn't have space on the mayor or duke doesn't have the wizard on retainer. There we go. Of course he does. Of course he does. And there's more than one. I closed it now, but there was 2, maybe 3 wizards at 12. And then after that, you probably got about another 7 at 11, which, if it's a wizard, can still cast 6 level spells because they cast spells at spell level 2x minus 1 instead. In other words, 6th level, 12, 1, 11th level. That's when they get access to 6 level spells. So there's a multiple of wizards. You're going to have a variety of them that can do different schools of magic. You're going to have a wizard to do that. And that's just a large town. That's not a capital. That's not a metropolis. That's not anything majorly important probably to a kingdom. That's just one that's like, damn, that hurt economically. That's not strategic. If it's a big enough thing to be strategic, they're going to have higher than 12th level wizards, even if they're only 13. That's 7th level spell. 7th level spell is the low end of the upper trilogy, I grant you. But that's enough to start doing some things if it came down to it. Who cares about the fucking dragon? Who gives a fuck about the dragon? That wizard is gonna get a paycheck. Hey, help me stop that dragon. Get a bunch of the wizards together, and I've not even begun to get into clerics, sorcerers. No. Fuck no. No fucking way in hell. Hold on. Oh, know how interdimensional beings can't within another interdimensional being? A real dick move to do is to give a party a bag of holding. Wait till the character holding enters tiny hut and have the entire party insta die. I don't think tiny hut caused that issue. I know what you're talking about, but I don't think that one worked that way. Because the problem with tiny hut is that while it wasn't that it was in an extra dimensional space, but it was not in and of itself an extra dimensional space. It was a space within extra dimensional space that had a defined thing. That's why the door was always there. I might be thinking of Mordekainen's. Rope trick might kill them. But I don't think the 3 Mordekainens would kill people. Tiny Hut, Mordekainen's Magnificent Mansion, and I know there's a 3rd one. I don't think those 3 would kill people because of the way it worked. While they created a space in extra dimensional space, from your point, it was a fixed space. Like it had a constant thing, if that makes sense. I don't think those 3. Rope Trick, though, definitely did. Rope Trick probably would. I would have to have a conversation with you as a player to figure out whether, or you as a player or me as a player, whether or not someone's dead. But I would have to look up that one. I'm not sure about Tiny Hut. I definitely am going to say Magnificent Mansion doesn't have that issue. Now, the Balrog is all powerful like its master. How is it that Gandalf, who is by no means the most powerful as race at that point in time, failed to prevent him from stomping the entire fellowship? But any rules, if I have line of sight to any point within 20 feet of you, I can get you. What? Are you talking about a fireball? If you were talking about fireball, you are half wrong. You don't just need line of sight, you need line of effect. You can see through a glass and have line of sight, but you will not have line of effect behind it. Fall damage. Gandalf was also an Iron Ear and died in his battle with it. Died, but he's still redeemed. Who was I again? All right, Steven, you're dead. You redeemed that earlier, and I didn't get it to you in time before you left, but you're dead. That is who you are again. So I am refusing your who was I again request because you don't exist. Brogren, I see you did one. I owe you yours. Also, when did this pause? One of these days, they're going to catch up to chat. Grogrin recently thought, I feel so good. She felt euphoric due to inebriation. Grogrin is susceptible to disease. Grogrin likes petrified wood, trifle pewter, jasper opal, pigtail fabric, goblets, alpacas for their jutting teeth, reptile men for their terrifying features, and the sound of the silvers of granite. When possible, she prefers to consume apple cider and cashew apples, though she absolutely detests cave spiders. She has good creativity, a good spatial sense, and a way with words, but she has next to no willpower. She dreams of mastering a skill someday. Now, hold on. I'm still trying to get this up. If there's power figure plane, there's no way he would have even been able to stop it from just walking past him. Also, his wings, why the fuck didn't he just, I don't know, fly over his head? Was permitted to oppose Sauron with force as part of his mission, but the Balrog was left over from an earlier war, and he was permitted to use his actual power against it. Gandalf was invoking magic to prevent it from passing. Not questioning what he did, I'm questioning how he could oppose the creature with any power, given the implication that they are all-powerful beings just by virtue of being a servant of Morgoth. Flame of Arnor is a relic of the old wars, which is why the dark fire would not avail the Balrog. Gandalf was a secret wielder. Balders are not all powerful, just very powerful. Doubt Morgoth could put so much into one Balrog as to give it complete control of the earth itself. Egler man, elf, dwarf would be no use, which is why he told the fools to fly. Wasn't all powerful as beyond anything and anyone in Middle Earth at the time. The uttered source Gandalf and the 4 wizards' actual forms. My Balrog did fly over him, pride, do as they're underground, elves as well, blah, blah, blah. I think I'm caught up. Now, the few elves left that seen the light of the 2 trees were on another level, below Sauron and below the 5 wizards. But above Ents is a fixed space over the interior of the space difference from the exterior with Tiny Hut. And yes, Gandalf died so to be passed through death. Now, he really died and was given a new body by the actual god of the world, Eru Ilúvatar. All right, I believe I am now caught up to chat. Finally. So I believe in this very short and concise conversation, I have explained why I do not believe that defenses are done correctly in many fantasy genres. Thank you for your time. No, but no. It's ridiculous. It's an assumed thing that magic would trump engineering, when it really should just be assumed that engineering is going to have magic in a world with magic. In Eberron, they had Sharn, the City of Towers. There are a ton of towers floating way too high into the air, where physics demands they should not be allowed to do so. They should crash. It is unknown what is keeping them up at the moment. at least as far as I'm aware. It's not unknown, but the minutia of it. They know that there's a spell, so on and so forth. It has sewers and shit, hundreds of feet in the air. Like by the time you get to ground level, something with just weird gears and other nonsense. Genuinely, I think Eberron, even though for some reason the creators didn't like it, I think Eberron was the only campaign setting I've seen thus far to really and properly understand how, like, what magic meant in the world. If you have wizards casting these levels of magic, this is what it implies. They had a bunch of magical items. The only problem is they didn't have enough for high level wizards. Really, Eberron made the assumption there are 6th level and below wizards in the world. Here are the type of items that they would make on the reg. And then for some reason, 7th level and above wizards never made magic items. Like, was the way they came up with their regular world things. And a lot of the stuff that they had in Eberron just made sense. Don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of things wrong with it, but it made sense. You are now caught up to chat. Quick, everyone in chat, start a new digression. Gotta love massive digressions from topic. I don't look like you were holding back there. Why don't you tell us how you really feel? He was actually holding back a little. Anime, castles, fantasy castles, magical fences, dragons, and Balrogs. Speaking of, you know, at some point people are gonna forget that command even exists, and people we'll stop keeping track of every time I lose track of what I was talking about when I go on rants. But so yeah, anime started that conversation by existing. No, to be fair, it wasn't anime that started that conversation. It was a child shitting onto a slime to make a poop slime. That's what started that conversation. That's what went down that path of nonsense. Poop slimes led to Balrogs. Duh. But yeah, no. So if we did this, let's say there's magic, right? If you have a Mott and Bailey system, reinforced with magic, mind you, still perfectly viable. The only big weakness is kind of what I was saying earlier, the actual structural weakness of why are you dividing yourself over into 2 areas? Because you end up with this weak point of the connection between the 2. If someone takes out that connection, then it's just an entrance into both. It really should just be one thing that you protect together. Excuse me. Build machine screw pump. So my thought is, I don't know what my thought is. Needs screw trap section, needs a pipe section. I was gonna make these ones out of wood. Why waste the effort? You only need 2 spells in a row to break any kingdom's economy in D&D. Electroplate lead coins with gold. I mean, yes. Kind of. There's a lot of things that'll destroy the economy in that game. You can flood the world with tinder twigs, for instance. Like the economy. I had a player when I was in the military try to solve the economy of D&D. I felt pity for this poor man. He tried to look up historical what you'd get for what was worth what, and try to be like, this should be worth this, this should be worth this. One of the big things he kept repeating was that no one saw gold coins or the equivalent. Everyone on the regular, farmers and stuff, just kind of if it wasn't just barter goods, dealt with the equivalent of copper coins. In D&D, your average regular peasant is earning 1 copper coin a day. In 1 week, 1 10 week, he's earning a silver coin. in 10 weeks or 2.5 months, he's earned a gold coin. It's not a lot. You go on an adventure and you get like 20 and 30 even at level 1. It's like whatever. But the player of mine was just absolutely stuck on the idea of no amount of work to a peasant would ever equate to a gold coin or the equivalent. That was just not how it worked. Yeah, so that he does, like I said, he had those. He's talking about peasants. Really what it was not that I got gold, not like me specifically, I was DMing, but not that I, the adventurer, got gold, or that knights had gold, or that regular things had gold, but that it was possible for a peasant to have gold coins. Hell, that it was possible for a peasant to have platinum coins. That, he was like, there's literally no way. Like, this cannot physically exist in the presence of a peasant. A peasant's existence would evaporate. I think what it came down to is, I can't remember the initial argument. Like I said, I was DMing, but I think there was like a bartender or something. They were like at a tavern at a very small villa. And like the room every night was like a copper piece or something like that, or 2 maybe, which was already kind of crazy. The player didn't like that because he's like, someone would work all day just to sleep for 1 night. He thought that was a nonsensical thing, but then the player didn't want to keep track of the lower coins, so he just gave the bartender a gold coin. And he was like, here, I'm going to be here for like a week or whatever. Here's a gold coin. It should also handle some of the basic foods. This other player was basically not annoyed. He wasn't disagreeing with me, but he was disbelieving of the fact that when we woke up the next morning, the bartender still worked there. Not the bartender, but like the tavern owner guy. He was disbelieving that he was even there. He's like, no, he just went out to he's it's like, I don't think it was the owner. I think it was, was it the barkeeper? It wasn't the owner. It was like an employee of the place. I can't remember. It was so many years ago. This is when I was in the military. But he was stuck on the fact, he was like, no, he's not here. Or why is he still here? I don't understand. I'm like, well, why don't you understand? He paid him a gold coin. I'm like, yeah. He goes, even if he takes all the coins that it would be worth, he could keep the extra as a tip, and he can go retire for a few months, or he's just saved up to go on vacation or something like that. Like, he was just like, no, he doesn't know what a gold coin is. That's what the player was stuck on. He's like, he does not know what that is. He's like, no, there's no way. There's no gold coins around here. I was like, of course there's gold coins. Look at how much the little tiny village has. And it was like 200 total gold, and the population was less than 200 or something like that. And he was like, that means there's more than 1 gold coin per person. This is the richest town in history. Doesn't exist in copper and trade goods. Wealthy merchants would maybe have gold. Guy owns a tavern. Was he going to retire to a beach town? Guy has to buy entire kegs of ale. Like I said, I don't think it was the owner. I'm like half recalling the story. This was in the military. We're approaching like half, like 3/4 to nearly a decade ago. Bear with me. Also, this is a player that could barely speak English, so I may not have completely understood what he was saying, but he was really, really hung up on the idea that this dude should not be there in the morning. He's like, no, we gave him a gold coin. He left. What? And then we tried bringing up how much transport was worth, where it's like every mile is 2 copper. So if you go 5 miles on a wagon, it's a silver piece. You go 50 miles on a wagon, it's a whole gold piece. And you go like that in a day, so a day's travel is worth 1 gold piece. Things like that, or how much boats could cost. Oh, he was losing it. He was just, the more we were trying to be like, no, this is how it works, the angrier he got. So of course we just kept giving him more and more examples of how the math works in D&D, and that just kept driving him angrier and angrier. It was kind of funny, actually. But no, he tried to fix the economy. He's like, none of this makes sense. Also, feudalism. So most of the wealth generated would go to the Lord. Most of the goods created would go to the Lord. So you bring that up. That was kind of one of his things. It genuinely was along the lines of who's the Lord. A lot of D&D things have like, oh, here's a town. Like if you go and find a town generator, they tell you who the control thing is. Like, oh, this guy's the mayor or something like that. Every little town is generated as if it was like a little merchant republic. And he was like, no, they all have to pay taxes to someone. Like, who are they all paying taxes to? Why is there this much money laying around? Again, this went on for like a few sessions. This wasn't just like a one-time thing. This went on for a few sessions of him trying to fix the math in D&D. He just thought that there was way too much money lying around. The poor people were too rich. They needed to be poorer. Actually, not true. The Lords didn't get that big of a share. Actually, quite a small share, relatively speaking. Just a lot of controlled land. Yeah, but a small share of the amount of money D&D says is still a large share, and no one seemed to ever need to give it up. Economists. The economists took all the money. Bastards. But yeah, no, it was kind of funny watching him get agitated. No, I can't trade these away. Some of these are still my things. Damn it. Let me do a search for X again. I'll try to trade away damaged clothing. All right, we'll bring that over for trade. A small share of everything adds up. Yeah. My DM just devalued the coinage. Instead of gold coins, it goes copper, nickel, brass. Who are you trading with this time? Gold only exists in ingots stored centrally. I suppose that makes sense. We are trading with the dwarves. So maybe we'll get steel. That reminds me, how's the steel industry been going this whole time? I have not been paying attention to you. Hold on. Stocks, bars, 126 iron, 109 pig iron, 43 steel. Did we run out of chalk? What the fuck is going on here? You owe me steel. Where is steel in this? Refined coal. You need coal to make steel, not just for fuel. I forgot about this. We need to burn more lignite. That one's on me. I genuinely forgot that fuel is also needed for a different purpose. Lignite we saw a lot of on this layer, which was also kind of this layer. If I remember correctly, this is lignite. Yes. So lignite is here. It's just irregular at best. What I can do is try mining around people's rooms. I hope he doesn't mind that I'm about to fucking tear through this looking for lignite. Lol, eerie. Hold on.
Test. No, that is awful.
What the fuck? Put you in the middle. Put you in the middle.
Test. Test. Eerie, eerie. Inflation hits a dwarven mine filled with coinage found. All prices tenfold now.
RNG strategist, noun, plural noun. Stonks, a concentrated artillery bombardment, a mortar stonk. A manager is so good for steel making. It's okay, next base, you'll get help. Shut up. I want a statue of lignite. No. I mean, no. I'm rejecting that right now. Apparently, lignite is in high demand, and lignite has the same cost of adamantine. And for some reason, right now, adamantine is not available, so can't request lignite. Sorry, that's how that works. Lignite balls in a tower. If you're using DF hack, you can just control V to dig out a full vein if you have some exposed lignite. You're no fun. Well, if I can find lignite, I will try to get it to do mine everything. I don't want it mining into the walls, though. Those are the suites. This is people's bedrooms. We don't want to mine people's bedrooms. You're no fun. It's not that I'm no fun. It's that I want steel. Is that it? Is that everything I turned on? Jesus. You can dig V for the vein, then reroute the entryway to another Z level, maybe. The Chulu wants a suite. Don't you already have a suite? Am I crazy? There you go. The Chulu has a suite. I never asked. All right, so then I guess you don't. I need a suite to put my lignite ball statue. Not getting a lignite ball statue. Lignite and iron ore are almost always found shallow. I make the bedrooms below the sedimentary layers. Don't have to worry about digging out lignite. A bit coal. Well, the problem is our map is tiny, new plan. Between the magma sea and the surface is 30 Z levels. 30. Between like the legit magma sea, not just I see some magma. All right, I'm gonna cancel these. I'm gonna cancel this. Then we're gonna do a dig or gyms. See if that'll go. Come back, you stupid morons. Get back here, you lazy bastards. All right, if we go back down below now I should be able to start ordering up steel. Or I have to wait for them to carry it down. Oh, I haven't turned it into fuel yet. Why do I not see fuel? Make coke from lignite. It's because they're all being carried. All right, I'll have to wait. I need one free level for bedrooms. Can fit below cavern 3. Ooh, they come with heating then. Lazy bastards hauling stone by hands. Look, that's their fault. Doesn't mean they're not lazy. Just means they're stupid and lazy. But no, there was as an example for shittily designed structures, there is that it? Is that it for my lignite? Are you kidding me right now? No, I kept going. There is an adventure for 3.5 involving Necrul? God of Death. There is a structure his follower has made, sucks souls in of anyone who dies within like 5 miles, drags him to his domain, he gets freebie souls. He's all for it. I use that with the players. They're fighting into it, get in there. Wizard is like, oh, where are we? It's not a magic cave. It's not reinforced. There's an artifact by a god in here designed to suck his souls in. Natural stone. Natural. Not reinforced, not constructed, nothing. Natural stone. Player goes, oh, okay. Transmute rock to mud. Just on the ceiling. Just dump the ceiling straight onto this fucking super artifact that you're supposed to find a way to take out and do this crazy fight, and you had like the big bad right next to it. He goes, oh, trains me rock stone, squishes and just kills everyone. He goes, all right, that fight's over. Because, and I allowed it because the demon lord was an idiot, and who the hell would choose to have their shit just being natural stone? So that's what the one player did. He did that, and they took the adventure. They fought all the way there, and they get to the end, and then he's just like, oh, okay, cool. I guess I just caused a cave in. We're done. Magic. No, they never think to put in thoughts for magic reinforcement or defenses or what have you. When all that would have taken is just a set of natural stone for it to be masonry. Masonry is immune to a lot of those effects, or at least a lot better resistant. A lot more resistant to those effects. A lot better. I'm trying to find a way to use better, and it never works. A lot more able. It is better able to handle the effects of that type of spell being cast on it. Trying to remember where I saw the fire truck from. I'm gonna laugh if it was in like the Dungeon magazine or something like that. You type in 3.5 fire truck, you just find a toy fire truck. Modern system reference document. No, I don't want this. I want the 3.5 one. I don't want homebrew either. I know I've got it in one of my books. I got thousands of the damn things. I know it's in one of them. But one of the things just has this town, and it randomly just has a little fire truck in it. And it was such a simple concept. Magic is insane at high levels. It is. Magic is insane at high levels, but you don't like... Or words correctly. Magic is insane at high levels. Conversely, though, they make magic so insane at high levels that you don't even need to do anything to be strong at it. If you were to compare, say, skill ceiling, skill floor, the worst person using this is so effective at it is skill floor, skill ceiling, how strong the most effective person with the spell can be at it. The skill ceiling for level 8 or maybe even level 7 is higher than the skill ceiling for level 9 spells. Level 9 spells are just really, by the way they're written, they just have a really high skill floor, if that makes sense. And the reason why I say it that way is because of meta magic feats. There are a lot stronger things you can do with a meta magic lower level spell than you can do with some of the higher level spells. And I know you're thinking the default is just, well, wish. Wish is kind of limited and also kind of expensive for what it does. Meta magic is only for sorcerers now. That's how they fuck it up. How is meta magic only for sorcerers? That's dumb. Sometimes I also do the dumb. I feel like blaming you for whatever reasons. About to look up that anime you talked about earlier. Ended up searching poop slime. Regret of unparalleled magnitude. I told you what it was called. It's called Kamitachi. I told you specifically how to spell that. At no point did I say, look up poop slime. No one told you to do that. Ever. That is your own fault. I looked up poop slime. The horrors I've seen. My eyes will never be clean again. No. Yes, but no. Wish. I don't know how it is in the latest versions, but if you look up Wish has two halves to the spell. There are two parts to Wish. One is the part everyone uses. Do whatever you want, but the DM destroys your very being. That's this section. Then there's a section over here that is, here's a list of very specific things you can do with Wish, and the DM is not allowed to fuck up your very being. That's it. If you stick within the list of the DM is not allowed to destroy your life, Wish is a very overpowered, almost pointless spell. There are a few things it does and does well. Consecutive wishes allow you to get inherent bonuses to your stats. Expensive, but okay, cool. Just add 5 to everything if you have enough money. But everyone takes it for, I wish that my God were made manifest in front of me. I want my God in front of me right now. All right, you're in front of your God on his plane. I didn't see that coming. Like that's how it goes a lot of the time. That's only because there's a second part of Wish that says you can do that. That's why whenever I had to have issues like that, I didn't homebrew a spell. I homebrewed a version of Wish. If it was one of those things where it's like, all right, you've gotten to like around level 18 or 20, you've saved the realm, you saved a deity or something like that, you are the end all be all, I would have something like the deity grant them a greater wish, i.e. this is a wish spell, but I'm not going to try to fuck you over with it. That was like the only way I designated between the you're free to push your luck and all right, here you go, you deserve a proper reward. Because the way they have it written, and some people try to abuse Wish, it gets to at the end, you're like, God, you deserve a reward. And if they have wishes, you can't give them one. Because if you try giving them a regular wish, they just assume you're trying to screw them over. Wish was insane in Baldur's Gate 2, such cheese. Wish and Ilona, also stupid, powerful, and great. Poorly made RPG RNG game. You can use Wish to recover all your spell slots, or you can use Simulacrum to cast Wish. So much cheese. Wish should create a spell that would permanently harm my character, but was lower level and easier to cast. Permanently harm my character. So harm. Harm and permanency? But if you level a mage from Baldur's Gate 1 to Baldur's Gate 2 throne, you deserve it.
No, it failed.
When did you have a mood? Why are all my weavers having moods? Who canceled their mood? Jess is spy too. You're dead now. How did I not notice? Did I know when that mood happened? Did I recognize that mood and forget it? Or did I just not notice the mood happened? Actually, that's a good point. Hold on. I got Dwarf kill him. Jesse Spy 2. I think that made sense. Who is the Mega Chat shooting at Jesse Spy 2? I'm gonna say Sanctum. Yeah, Sanctum Spirit Stone. A flying copper bolt strikes the Weaver's Guild in the head, tearing the muscle and fracturing the skull. Oh God, he headshot him. Jesus.
Sanctum Spirit Stone let loose a flying copper bolt towards the Jesse Spy 2. The flying copper bolt struck Jesse Spy 2 in the head, tearing the muscle and fracturing the skull and tearing a tendon in the skull. Sanctum then replied, or then commented, I've improved my archery. That was not satisfying. The flying copper bolt then let loose by Sanctum struck Jesse Spy 2 in the upper body, tearing the muscle and fracturing the right floating rib through the ropery cloak, tearing a tendon in the right floating ribs and lodging in there. Sanctum thought afterwards, death. I am not upset by this. And can it all end so quickly? That doesn't scare me.
What a lad. What a guy. It's like Cat from Red Dwarf. What a guy when he's dealing with not Rimmer, but what is Successful Rimmer called? I'm forgetting the name of Successful Rimmer. What a Chad. Well, you know what you do. You hear someone start screaming and you turn around and you just start shooting them with bolts. What else is there to do? Duh. All right, are you able to start making my lignite now? Yes, coke from lignite. Unrepeat. I don't recall successful rumor. I didn't watch all Red Dwarf though. Then it's not all Red Dwarf. You didn't watch any Red Dwarf. Or I should say you watched definitely less than half. What is his name? He goes by another name when it's when it is the successful version. Ace Rimmer. Arnold Rimmer's successful version is called Ace Rimmer. In Stoke, quick summation. In Stoke Me a Clipper, Rimmer is approached by dying Ace Rimmer, played by Barry, who is not the Ace. Oh, there's another one. Where's this first Ace Rimmer? I want the first one. Essentially, I can't figure out why it wasn't on the wiki that I could find the original one. God, that name. Smoke me a kipper. I'll be back for breakfast. What a guy. That's what I was thinking when you were saying what a lad for the shooting. What a guy. There is a Red Dwarf exists in a multiverse. In another universe, Arnold's mother held him back a year, and this decision alone made him buckle down and become a good guy, which meant he was like the greatest man to ever grace humanity. He was known as Ace Rimmer. He was a test pilot in the core of whatever the hell. And he was so good and amazing at his job on his day before testing out the multi-dimensional ship hopping thing. I think, the female assistant, who's played by the actress who does Holly, I think, quits her job to have sex with him at noon. Then the male character, who is a scientist that played the other Holly, I think, quits his job to have sex with him at 1. You know, Ace Rimmer's like, no. He's like, no, I don't think so. I'm already doing someone. He then goes hopping through the dimensions where he bumps into the Arnold Rimmer that we are aware of. And then after realizing that life could be shitty if he were Arnold Rimmer, he leaves in his multi-dimension ship and he goes around the universe fighting evil wherever he can, including fighting the Nazis by wrestling an alligator falling out of an airplane, and then he surfs it down to Hitler to have it fight him, and then he gets shot at some point. So he gives his heartlight beacon to Arnold, who Arnold is then inspired by seeing all the other Ace Rimmers who went around the universe or the multiverse saving people, to give up the I'm a shitty person persona, so to speak, of Arnold Rimmer and to become Ace Rimmer. Again, essentially it's a title that all of these successful Rimmers have. If it is a Rimmer who is a failure, he's still known as Arnold. If it is a Rimmer who has overcome his past misgivings to become successful, good, what have you, he becomes Ace Rimmer. And he is such a good persona that everyone is always like, what a guy. In one of the scenes, he is trying to help Lister on a frozen planet or in space or some weird nonsense like that. I can't remember the details. They have to go outside the ship to repair something, and he needs to help Lister up, but his arm is completely fractured in like 5 pieces. So Ace is holding onto the ship. He leans down to let Lister grab his broken arm, pulls Lister all the way up so that Lister can be on safety next to him. He goes, hold on, I'm gonna have to do something a bit unbecoming. And he passes out, like literally just there. He goes, I'm gonna do something unbecoming and pass out. God, that hurt, or something like that. He's like, and then he's just back to doing, like, literally he only passes out for like the barest of moments because he had to support another grown man's weight on his arm. Like, as soon as he decides he's gonna be good, he's now Ace Rimmer. What a guy. Space Corps, thank you. And that's basically where the premise for all the Rick and Morty clones comes from. But Rick and Morty is a superior form of comedy. Frozen Planet episode is one of my favorites. It's never been done before. The man turned himself into a pickle. That's the funniest shit I've seen in my whole entire life. What? Did you? I don't know if you meant to say it the way I read it. It just sounded so flat. I don't know if you're trying to ironically defend Rick and Morty, or if you're just, the man turned himself into a pickle. That's the funniest shit I've seen in my whole entire life. Just the flat way I read it without realizing what you were saying. More sarcastic. No, Kappa does not mean sarcasm. I don't care if the entirety of Twitch has gotten together and agreed that Kappa means sarcasm. Ever since GlitchCon, Kappa now just means failure. I and I alone get to decide what means sarcasm in the land of Twitch. And I have now decided that it means failure. And no one is allowed to question me. I mean, he turned himself into a pickle. Is it possible to be funnier than that? He said it, guys. Kappa doesn't mean sarcasm, Kappa. It's both. It's like, who was the streamer? There was a streamer that I occasionally watch. I think I still have him under my follow list, but I haven't seen him in like over 2 years. He would do things like the, trying to remember his name right now, but he would do like a Super Mario RPG randomizer. And in one of the runs he was doing through, people kept getting banned over and over again. And he had to explain to people. And he was like, yeah, I've banned Kappa. You get banned if you use Kappa in his streams. And he's like, it's because it's an unfunny emote for unfunny people trying to sound like they're funny. Which actually inadvertently just made it more funny. Because the thing is, people would do clips and shit and try to repost the clips back. And if the clip included the word Kappa, because it's Twitch, they have Kappa in some of their clip names, it was banning people. This bot was banning people just because he hated the idea of Kappa. The only thing that requires a higher IQ than Rick and Morty is Gachi Mushi. I'm unfunny, I'm aware. But no, he was, I wouldn't say angry at it, but it was just the weird way he says, like, no, it's banned and I'm not unbanning it. It's a thing to try to make people laugh when you do an unfunny joke and it's not funny. What? Okay. Now, I've hit the hour, but I'm within the last 30 minutes, so I'm not going to end it now just to do like a 20-minute video by itself. That'd be insane. What I am going to do, though, is pause the requisitions. Just because there's so little time left, I'm not doing those. There you go. I'm doing my best, though. I'm like doing my best. Why is everyone so mean to me? But I'm a good guy, though. Why does no one love me? I'm a good boy. I never got my lignite balls. No, you didn't. I refunded that immediately. Why are you acting like there was ever a chance you're getting lignite balls? I told you no. Each lignite is 5 fuel, and I need the fuel to make steel. Why would I give up 5 steel? No, there's no way. We are at a shortage of lignite. I think I'm funny. What? I should get my lignite balls because I think I'm funny. Just give him a marble statue of lignite. You can't though, that's the issue. We keep having issues like this with the statue creation system. It don't work that way. A lot of people seem to think it does, but it don't. You can't requisition a statue of a material to show another material. It does not work that way. Shrubbery then. I already rejected it. It's not like I can go back 30 minutes and approve it. It was rejected then on the spot. You're like trying to make an argument for a thing that's long since been over. Can you name your fortress the Lignite Balls or the Balls of Lignite? No, we're FogBasement. Above the name. FogBasement. Also, I should save now. I don't know when I last saved is. It's so time to try to go to sleep, but there's donuts there. They have my name on it. I actually took off like $4 from the thing by getting those donuts. Or was it $3? Each donut, the company paid me 50 cents for each donut. Because of the weird way Uber Eats did things. I tried to get a breakfast this morning, and then Uber Eats had a thing where it's like, well, you're over $20, so I'm going to take 10% off, or something like that. But then there was an individual thing from Dunkin' that was like, oh, BT Dubs, you're getting over $12, because Shadow Fox was here as well. It was like, oh, you're getting over $12, so you know, you can get these donuts that are normally like $8 for free. It's like, all right. So I put it in. So then they took off the money, but the subtotal was higher. So the 20% system that Uber Eats was putting on applied to a higher number. And it ended up being when I added in the 6 donuts for free, my like total cost went down by like $2 or $3. It was weird. I was like, this is okay, cool, whatever. So I got paid 50 cents a donut. I just want to see if this even works. This isn't even like my final form. I just want to see if the plan works. Build construction wall. This is such a bad way to do what I'm trying to do. I should never, ever do anything this way again. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to cover it up and then build from the outside in. This was clearly a dumb idea. You guys let me do it, so I blame you. Sponsored donut eating stream. Yep, that's it. You guys don't know, but I get paid the big money to eat donuts. Though technically, if you think about the math of it, I guess I do. I get paid 50 cents to eat a donut. I'm a very cheap sponsor. I'm a very cheap ass. Any company out there want to reach out to me? 50 cents is all it takes. Not diorite. Wood. Ruble beans. Hello, Ruble beans. Are you ready to try to become a dwarf? New emote. Duncan. I want to change my emote prefix so bad. Because it's not RNG, right? My emote prefix is still under Airmill from like forever ago. Wait, no, it is. Wait, when did my emote prefix change? Also, yes. I'm sorry. I wish to be more enthused for you, Ruble Beans, but emote RNG lost? When did they change my prefix? RNG strat 1. I can change the post later on. Hold on, I'm so sorry. Yeah, my prefix got changed. They told me they couldn't do that. I never paid attention, I never noticed. I was super bummed out that my emote prefix was still under airmill. I was like, that's kind of dumb. But also, I have more enthusiasm when I'm sitting here. Well, thank you, Ruble Beans. First of all, welcome to the stream. We do only have about 18 minutes or so left. If Formal is on, I will give him a raid. If he's not, we'll raid someone else. And if you wish to be dwarfed, then I have good news for you. I have a not very complicated script that does complicated things. If you type, that's working. If you type in !dwarf, DWARF, or !dwarf, DORF, it'll run a random number generator that can name one of the dwarves after you. But it also creates a file to keep track of whether or not you're alive. If you then come back in a Dwarf Fortress stream and type in the same command, it'll give you a new dwarf or tell you you're still alive. If I'm not doing Dwarf Fortress, it keeps track of it anyways and tells you whether or not you're alive without giving you a new dwarf, because of course if I'm not doing Dwarf Fortress, I can't give you a new dwarf anyways. So once you're a dwarf in the mountain home, forever shall you be a dwarf in the mountain home. Dead or alive, taking you in. Dwarf 32. Also, it's supposed to pick a number between 1 and the amount of dwarves I have on hand. The only thing I don't have it doing is automatically naming the dwarf after you. I can't seem to, I say I can't seem to, like I've been working on it. I don't know right now how to interject the name into the Dwarf Fortress code. So that I still need to do. Ruble Beans. What did you get? You got 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 30. 31, 32. You are a leather worker. You're in our survival guild. Our butchery, tanners, and leather workers are all grouped together under the class name of survivalist guilds or survival guilds. Ruble Beans. All right, so at some point that stopped working. Like how when I wasn't looking, that stopped working. Now, hold on, I'm about to cheat. Is it because of the mud? Because the water was going through until it wasn't. What made it not? I guess it hit positive pressure? That's weird. So, unfortunately, if I have the whole active, I could dump the pressure. If I don't, I can't. Makes sense. That was the purpose of this experiment, was to see that. But Ruble Beans. Oh my God, Flat. I saw the water-filled structure you have there, and I was wondering if it's a water wheel or a reservoir. Up top is an experiment. Hold on. What we are doing is we're doing a big superstructure to the shape of an old castle called a Motte and Bailey system, which we had a long discussion about earlier as to the defensive effectiveness of a Motte and Bailey system in historical context. Anyways, we are doing that. This water right here is because we are built on top of 3 brook sources, 3 sources of brooks. However, we are at the result of 4 brooks, as this is actually downstream from another brook. How is this downstream from another brook? I don't know. I really don't. So I have set up a system to drain the water and the pressure, but I wanted to see if I could dump water in here anyways and see if it would absorb water, and it doesn't. So that was a big old failure. I swear it was working at the very beginning and then it wasn't. So I don't know what happened there. But Ruble Beans, You are a dwarf who was created for this base with no prior history. Thus, you have no family and no long-standing friendships. You have been in the base a slight while, so you have made some passing and long-term acquaintances, but none of them have bore fruit yet. You prayed to Anul, a male dwarf associated with fire, volcanoes, earth, and mountains. Ruble Beans recently thought, I've been well. Ruble Beans is because she was uneasy at their lack of decent meals. Ruble Beans is clumsy and very flimsy. Ruble Beans likes satin spar, tin, sapphire, a knoll tooth, glass eye bone, the color pale taupe, rabbits for their ears, buzzers for their striking red face, the words of the tulip of brides, and the sight of the luxury of music. When possible, she prefers to consume clownfish, passion fruit wine, and barley flour, though she absolutely detests bark scorpions. She has great creativity, a very good sense of empathy, a great feel from surrounding space, a good intellect, and a sum of patience. But she has an iffy, oh my god, I'm so sorry. But she has an iffy sense for music, an iffy memory, and poor focus. She dreams of mastering a skill someday, despite these limitations. I'm sorry, I'm getting near the end of the 8 hours, and clearly my mouth does not want to be where I put it. Do you want to be ready, mouth? My idea, though, the reason why I'm doing this is I was trying to create a waterfall for the dwarves on the brook so that they get clean. As you can see, I believe some blood has been pushed around, or this is, yeah, there you go. Some blood was being pushed around. So the idea, I think, would work in principle if I create the waterfall here 4 wide to dump straight down, and over here I drain the water. I think those two together will allow me to have a waterfall that, if I can bait the dwarves through it, can regularly get them clean. Perhaps I need to have the water pump less to make sure it works in the long run, but at the very least, we know that I'm going to need to drain the pressure if I want to make sure that it works. Can you move all your dwarves to the Bailey and flood the moat when the goblins attack? If I built more floor hatches, yes, I could. There are a lot of connections into the base that are from below, so they would need floor hatches to cover them. But other than that, if I had another way to drain the water and put it on the outside, yeah, no, that should work. That should definitely work. I could use this as a gigantic fillable swimming pool of safety. I'm actually trying to clean up the mud. I'm gonna write that down, or try to keep that written down. Mott as fillable pool of safety, because we built the wall so high on the Mott. The wall is 3 high, 1, 2, 3 roof. So if we were to do that to full depth, then that's so much water no one's even going to get through anyways to attack the hatches to try to get into the regular part of the base. The only issue if we do that is the farm, because the one in the northwest and the one in the southeast, these are both just doorways that connect to the mods. That's all they are. They're just 2 different ways to get to the mods. So if I could probably wall off the shitty one anyway, so we really only have that to worry about. That and the farm. The farm is connected via ramps, making that a harder thing to deal with, but it shouldn't be that much of a problem. Also, we could slowly empty it, I guess, because we have the garbage dump out here. We could slowly raise and lower the garbage dump to destroy the water, and that could drain the mod as well. Correction, the Bailey. Does it freeze in winter? No, it does not.